Let's look at how we can actually use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate something. So what we have here is a triangle. It's not drawn to scale, and I'm saying this is 15 units long on the base, and the height or the altitude is 8 units long. So those units are the same units, but I do not know the length of the hypotenuse or the angled side here. I know it's a right angled triangle because I can see the symbol for the right angle in the corner. So that means it is a right angled triangle. So I can trust that this is a right angled triangle, and therefore I can apply the Pythagorean theorem. So let this be the base B, and let this 8 be the A, the altitude. So let the unknown, the question mark, be H. So now I can write the rule down and I can say, I know the Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared equals H squared. Now some people say C squared. Lots of books say C squared, but I kind of like using H squared because it reminds you that it is the hypotenuse. Doesn't matter if you want to use C squared. So now we put the values in. A is equal to 8. So I write 8 squared plus B is 15 squared, and I'm hoping to find out what H is. So at the moment, it's going to be equal to H squared. So 8 squared, can you remember what that is? 8 times 8 is 64. But you do have a calculator if you need it, and I'll show you on the calculator too. Can you remember what 15 squared was? We used it in a previous video. It's 225. And we need to add them together. So in our next step, we're going to say 8 squared is the sum of those two, but let's check it on our calculator just to be sure. So the first one we did, and I'd like you to practice using your calculator, 8, so choose 8, and then use the squaring button. Can you see it? It's just here, the little x squared. Oh, I've got to turn it on. Oops. So let's do that again. 8 squared, enter, is 64. You see that? 64. Right, so let's go 15 squared, so 15. And here's my squared button. It's a little x squared. Choose that and enter. I get 225. So now I'm going to add those together. So the first one I'm going to choose is 225 and enter. Plus, now I'm going to add it to 64. So I go up, and until it highlights the 64, and I go enter, and then I've added them, 225 plus 64, enter, I get 289. So I'm going to write 289 down here. So H squared is 289. So I want to find out what it is that has been multiplied by itself to give me 289. So I need to find H, which is the square root of 289. So the square root says what number has been multiplied by itself to give me 289. So this time I'm going to choose the second function. So second function and the square root button. Now I go up and copy that, copy it in there. So now I'm finding the square root of 289. Enter, it's 17. So H equals 17. Okay, so we've solved this problem using the Pythagorean theorem. We've found the length of the hypotenuse using a squared plus b squared equals the hypotenuse squared. And that's very useful for finding the lengths of the diagonals. You could imagine this might be a length of tin on a roof, and you might have the height of your roof and halfway from the centre truss out to the edge of your roof. And you might want to know the length of roofing iron required to cover that and add on some more from your gutter, I guess. However, it's used a lot in geometry and building bridges, building houses, building buildings of all types. It's also used in science and astronomy for finding different lengths when you don't know all of the details out in space. So it's extremely useful, and we're going to use it quite a lot in the next couple of lessons.